Irving stared at the half-empty champagne glass in his hand, feeling as out of place as a snowman in summer at his cousin, Ethan's extravagant wedding reception. The live band played softly in the background while couples swirled around the dance floor in what seemed like a choreographed display of happiness that only emphasized his solitude. "Daddy, can I have another cookie?" 6-year-old Lily tugged at his rented tux, chocolate already smudged around her mouth from the previous 2 cookies he'd reluctantly allowed. "Just one more, sweet Pia," Ben said, wiping her face with a napkin. "Then maybe we should think about heading home. It's getting late." He checked his watch, barely 8:30 p.m. The reception would continue for hours, but single parenting had taught him to pick his battles wisely, and an overtired Lily tomorrow wasn't worth staying to catch the bouquet toss. "But I want to dance more." Lily protested, her blue eyes so like her mother's widening in protest. Ben sighed, running a hand through his dark hair. 15 more minutes, then. Go find Aunt Martha. I think she was looking for a dance partner." As Lily scampered off, Ben loosened his tie and surveyed the lavish ballroom. The Rosemont Hotel was one of those places he'd normally only see in magazines' crystal chandeliers, elaborate flower arrangements, waitstaff carrying silver trays of hors d'oeuvres that probably cost more than his weekly grocery budget. 2 years after Karen had left them, he was still adjusting to raising Lily on a high school English teacher's salary. "You look like you're plotting an escape route." The voice came from his left, and Ben turned to find a woman he hadn't noticed taking the seat beside him. She wore an elegant emerald bridesmaid dress that complemented her auburn hair, which fell in loose waves past her shoulders. "That obvious?" Ben managed a smile, suddenly aware of his rumpled appearance. "I've been monitoring all exits myself," she said conspiratorially. "I'm Natalie, by the way." "Natalie Graves. Ben Irving." He shook her offered hand, noticing her firm grip. "You're one of the bridesmaids, maid of honor," Natalie corrected, "though I suspect Victoria only chose me because I can organize a mean bachelorette party. We were roommates in college." She tilted her head. "And you, cousin of the groom. Distant cousin, apparently, since they seated me at the 'we had to invite you, but don't really know what to do with you' table." Natalie laughed, a genuine sound that made her green eyes crinkle at the corners. "I know that table well. I usually end up there at corporate functions." "Corporate functions?" Ben asked, curious despite himself. "I run a tech company," she said simply, as if mentioning she worked at a coffee shop. "Nothing exciting, software development, boring stuff." Before Ben could ask more, Lily came bounding back, breathless from dancing. "Daddy, Aunt Martha said I can stay up until the cake," she announced triumphantly. "Did she now?" Ben raised an eyebrow. "Well, Aunt Martha isn't the one who has to deal with a cranky little girl tomorrow morning." Lily noticed Natalie and immediately switched to shy mode, pressing herself against Ben's leg. "Hello there," Natalie said, her voice softening. "I like your dress. Is that a unicorn on it?" Lily nodded solemnly. "His name is Sparkles. Daddy ironed him special so he wouldn't be wrinkly." Ben felt his cheeks warm. "The iron and I had a bit of a battle, but I think Sparkles emerged victorious." "Daddy does everything by himself now," Lily informed Natalie matter-of-factly. "He even learned to make braids, but they're not as good as Mommy's were." The uncomfortable silence that followed was mercifully brief before Natalie spoke. "Well, I think your dad deserves a special award for braid making. It's a very difficult skill." Lily seemed to consider this. "Maybe, but he still can't make pancakes without burning them." "All right, that's enough exposing Daddy's domestic shortcomings," Ben said, ruffling Lily's hair affectionately. "Why don't you go see if they've put out those chocolate strawberries you like?" As Lily darted off again, Ben turned apologetically to Natalie. "Sorry about that." "Filter-free at this age. Don't apologize, she's adorable." Natalie's smile was warm. "And honest about your pancake skills." "Brutally so," Ben agreed, finding himself relaxing for the first time that evening. "I've mastered scrambled eggs, though. It's all about small victories." "How long has it been just the two of you?" Natalie asked gently. 2 years. Karen decided that motherhood and marriage weren't for her after all. Last I heard, she was teaching English in Japan. That must be difficult. We manage, Ben said, his standard response whenever anyone expressed sympathy. Lily's worth every burned pancake and lopsided braid. Natalie studied him thoughtfully. You know, I make excellent pancakes. The secret is getting the pan temperature just right. Is that an offer to make us breakfast? Ben said jokingly, then immediately regretted it. Sorry, that came out wrong, Natalie laughed. Actually, I was thinking more like pancake lessons. Everyone should know how to make decent pancakes. Before Ben could respond, the wedding planner appeared beside them, looking harried. Miss Graves, we need you for the speeches. They're starting in 5 minutes. Natalie stood, smoothing her dress. Duty calls. Save me a dance later. Ben watched her walk away, feeling an unexpected disappointment at her departure. He hadn't planned on staying for dancing, but suddenly, an early departure seemed less appealing. The speeches were predictably emotional and occasionally awkward. Ben found himself watching Natalie more than the bride and groom as she delivered a heartfelt toast about friendship and love. When she mentioned believing that everyone deserves a second chance at happiness, her eyes briefly met his across the room, and he felt an unfamiliar flutter in his chest. She's pretty, Lily commented, following his gaze while systematically dismantling her slice of wedding cake. Who? Ben asked, feigning ignorance, the lady in the green dress, the one you keep looking at. I'm not, Ben started to deny, then stopped himself. Yes, she is pretty. Do you like her? Lily asked, in the direct way of children. I just met her, Sweet Pia. Lily considered this. Mommy met her new friend on the first day, too. She told me on the phone. Ben tried not to wince. Karen's new friend was the real reason she'd left, though they'd agreed not to tell Lily that part yet. That's different, Ben said carefully. Grown-up relationships are complicated. Everything with grown-ups is complicated, Lily sighed dramatically, returning her attention to the destruction of her cake. After the cake cutting, the dance floor opened up again. Ben was contemplating whether to honor his promise to stay for Lily to dance more when Natalie reappeared, this time with a small plate of chocolate strawberries. I rescued these for a certain young lady who I heard might appreciate them, she said, placing the plate in front of Lily, whose eyes widened in delight. Thank you, Lily exclaimed, immediately grabbing one. What do we say about your manners? Ben reminded gently. Thank you, miss. Lily trailed off, realizing she didn't know Natalie's name. Natalie, and you're very welcome. I'm Lily. I'm 6 3/4. That's a very good age to be, Natalie replied seriously. I remember when I was 6 3/4. It was a very important time in my life. What happened? Lily asked, intrigued. That's when I decided I wanted to build things. My dad gave me this old computer that I took apart and put back together, and it actually worked afterward. That was pretty amazing. My daddy builds stuff too. He made me a bookshelf for my room, but it's a little crooked. Ben groaned. Is there any domestic failure you're not going to share tonight, Lily? The shelf is perfect for bedtime stories, Natalie said diplomatically. Now, I believe someone promised me a dance. Ben hesitated. I should probably stay with Lily. I can watch her, offered an older woman at their table who'd been quietly observing their interaction. I'm Victoria's grandmother. My dancing days are behind me, but I'm quite good at supervising children and chocolate consumption. Before Ben could politely decline, Lily had already scooted her chair closer to the elderly woman. Do you know any stories about princesses? She asked eagerly. Go, the woman shooed them with a smile. We'll be fine. On the dance floor, Ben suddenly felt self-conscious. I should warn you, I haven't danced much since my wedding. Don't worry, Natalie said as she placed one hand on his shoulder. I'll lead if necessary. As they moved somewhat awkwardly to the slow jazz song, Ben gradually relaxed. So this tech company of yours, he ventured. What exactly does it do? We develop accessibility software for people with disabilities, Natalie explained. Screen readers, voice recognition, that sort of thing. Not very glamorous, but meaningful work. That sounds important, Ben said, genuinely impressed. How did you get into that field? My younger brother has cerebral palsy. Growing up, I saw how technology could either be a barrier or a gateway for him. I wanted to help open more gateways. Her expression softened. What about you? Always wanted to be an English teacher? Actually, yes. Books were my escape as a kid. My parents divorced when I was 12, and reading helped me process it all. I wanted to give that same gift to other kids. Natalie nodded, understanding. So you're passing on your coping mechanism to the next generation. That's noble. I don't know about noble, Ben laughed. Some days, it's just trying to get 30 teenagers to care about Shakespeare when they'd rather be on their phones. Well, for what it's worth, I think what you do matters tremendously, Natalie said. Teachers changed my life. The song ended, but another began immediately, and neither made a move to leave the dance floor. As they continued talking, Ben found himself drawn to Natalie's understated confidence and genuine interest in his stories about teaching and raising Lily. What about you? He asked eventually. Any kids? No, she said. Never found the right person and then work took over. The company grew faster than I expected. You make it sound like a small operation, Ben commented. How big is it? Natalie hesitated. We have offices in 3 cities now, about 200 employees. Ben missed a step. That's substantial. It's been a journey, she said, her tone suggesting she didn't want to elaborate further. But enough about work. Tell me more about Lily. She seems remarkable. As they danced through another song, Ben found himself sharing stories about Lily's adventures in first grade, her obsession with space, and her recent determination to learn piano despite their lack of an actual piano at home. I've been saving for a keyboard, he admitted. But between rent, after-school care, and everything else, it's taking longer than I'd hoped. Music education is so important, Natalie agreed. I played violin as a child, hated practicing but loved performing. When they finally returned to the table, they found Lily curled up in her chair, sound asleep with chocolate smudges around her mouth. I think that's my cue, Ben said regretfully. I should get her home. Of course, Natalie said. Let me help you. Together, they gathered Lily's small purse and Ben's suit jacket. Ben carefully lifted his daughter, who mumbled something about unicorns before nestling against his shoulder. Thank you for the dances, Ben said as they reached the hotel lobby. It made this evening much more enjoyable than I expected. I feel the same way, Natalie replied. There was a moment of awkward silence before she added, I'd like to see you again, both of you, maybe for those pancake lessons. Ben felt a mixture of surprise and pleasure. We'd like that too. But I should warn you, my kitchen is about 1/10 the size of this hotel lobby and considerably less glamorous. Perfect, Natalie smiled. I prefer cozy kitchens. How's tomorrow morning? Ben blinked. You don't waste time, do you? Life's taught me not to postpone good things, she said simply. Unless you're busy. Sunday mornings are usually reserved for cartoons and coffee, Ben admitted, but I think we could make an exception for pancake education. They exchanged phone numbers, and Ben carefully typed his address into Natalie's phone while balancing Lily against his shoulder. 10 o'clock, Natalie suggested. We'll be the ones in pajamas with bedhead, Ben warned. Natalie's laugh followed him out to the parking lot, where he carefully buckled a still sleeping Lily into her booster seat. As he drove home to their modest 2-bedroom apartment, Ben found himself wondering if he'd imagined the connection he'd felt with Natalie. Women like her successful, beautiful, confident didn't usually look twice at overworked single dads with crooked bookshelves and burned pancakes. The next morning, Ben woke early, suddenly anxious about the state of his apartment. He spent an hour frantically tidying, hiding laundry in closets, and wiping down surfaces before Lily even woke up. Is someone coming over? Lily asked sleepily when she finally emerged from her bedroom, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Remember Natalie from the wedding. the lady who gave you the strawberries. She's coming to teach us how to make pancakes." Lily's face lit up. "The pretty lady? Yay, can we put blueberries in them? And chocolate chips?" "Let's not get carried away," Ben laughed. "Why don't you go brush your teeth and pick out your clothes?" "She'll be here in about an hour." At precisely 10 o'clock, there was a knock at the door. Ben opened it to find Natalie holding a reusable grocery bag and wearing jeans and a simple blue sweater, a stark contrast to the elegant bridesmaid he'd danced with the night before, but somehow even more appealing in her casual attire. "I brought reinforcements," she said, holding up the bag. "Real maple syrup, fresh berries, and my secret pancake weapon." "Which is?" Ben asked as he welcomed her inside. "Buttermilk," Natalie revealed, "makes all the difference." Lily appeared from her bedroom, wearing a mismatched outfit of purple leggings and a yellow shirt with planets on it. "Hi." "I'm ready for pancakes. I love your space shirt," Natalie said, kneeling down to Lily's level. "Are you interested in astronomy?" "Yes. Daddy takes me to the planetarium sometimes. I know all the planets in order," Lily declared proudly. "Impressive." "Maybe you can teach me while we make breakfast?" Ben watched their interaction with a warm feeling in his chest as they moved to the kitchen. His apartment suddenly felt different with Natalie in it, brighter somehow, as if she'd brought extra light with her. The pancake lesson began with Natalie explaining the importance of not overmixing the batter. That's what makes them tough, and demonstrating the perfect flip technique. Lily stood on a kitchen chair, carefully stirring while Ben heated the pan, just right, under Natalie's guidance. "The first pancake is always a sacrifice to the pancake gods," Natalie explained when the initial attempt came out oddly shaped. "It's tradition." By the third pancake, Ben was getting the hang of it, and soon they had a respectable stack on a plate. They gathered at his small kitchen table, which Ben had earlier realized was missing a proper tablecloth or anything resembling an adult dining setup. "This is the best breakfast ever," Lily declared after her first bite, maple syrup already on her chin. "All credit to Chef Natalie," Ben said, genuinely impressed by the light, fluffy texture they'd achieved. "These are amazing." "It was a team effort," Natalie insisted. Lily's stirring was crucial. They fell into easy conversation as they ate, with Lily dominating much of it by explaining the solar system in great detail. Ben noticed how attentively Natalie listened, asking questions that delighted Lily with their seriousness. After breakfast, Lily convinced Natalie to see her room, proudly showing off her space-themed decor and book collection. Ben leaned against the doorframe, watching as Natalie admired the crooked bookshelf with genuine appreciation. "You built this?" she asked, running her hand along the uneven edge. "My carpentry skills are on par with my previous pancake abilities," Ben admitted. "Functional but lacking finesse." "I think it has character," Natalie said, "and it clearly does its job perfectly." Later, while Lily was occupied with drawing a picture of Miss Natalie making pancakes in space, a conceptual piece, she explained seriously, Ben and Natalie sat on the worn couch with coffee. "Thank you for this morning," Ben said. "Lily hasn't stopped smiling since you arrived." "Neither have you," Natalie pointed out gently. Ben felt his cheeks warm. "That obvious?" "I'm observant," she said, then added more hesitantly, "I've really enjoyed spending time with both of you, even in our natural habitat of mismatched furniture and toys everywhere." "Especially here," Natalie said. "Last night was nice, but this," she gestured around the apartment, "this is real. I spend too much time in boardrooms and at formal functions where everyone is playing a part." Ben studied her curiously. "You don't seem like the typical CEO." "What's a typical CEO supposed to be like?" "I don't know. More." He searched for the right word, imperious, less willing to spend Sunday morning teaching pancake techniques to strangers. Natalie laughed. "Well, I didn't start out planning to run a company. It just happened gradually, and suddenly I was responsible for all these employees and their families. Some days I still feel like I'm playing dress up in my business suits." I get that feeling teaching sometimes, Ben admitted. Like any moment the students will realize I'm just making it up as I go along. Imposter syndrome, the great equalizer, Natalie nodded. So what do you usually do on Sundays after cartoons and coffee? Weather permitting, we try to get outdoors. There's a nice park about 6 blocks from here. Perfect walking distance, Natalie said. Are you inviting yourself along? Ben asked, surprised and pleased. Is that too forward? Not at all, he assured her. Lily would love it, and so would I. The park outing turned into lunch at a nearby diner, which turned into ice cream, which somehow led to Natalie joining them for pizza and a movie night. By the time she finally left that evening, it felt as if they'd known her for months rather than a day. I like her, Lily declared as Ben tucked her into bed. She laughs at your jokes even when they're not funny. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Ben chuckled. Can she come back tomorrow? She has to work tomorrow, Sweet Pia. But she did mention maybe taking us to the Science Museum next weekend. The one with the dinosaurs. Lily's eyes widened. That's the one, but it's a school night now, so time for sleep. As Ben closed Lily's door and returned to the living room, he noticed Natalie had forgotten her light jacket. He picked it up, inhaling a faint trace of her perfume, and found himself smiling like a teenager. His phone buzzed with a text message. Made it home safely. Thank you for a wonderful day. Your daughter is amazing, and so are you. Ben stared at the message, trying to remember the last time someone had made him feel this mix of excitement and contentment. He typed back, "The pancake gods have smiled upon us today. Lily is already planning our next adventure." Natalie's response came quickly. "Can't wait. Sweet dreams to both of you." Over the next few weeks, Natalie became a regular presence in their lives. She joined them for the Science Museum trip, where her knowledge of astronomy impressed even the museum guide. She helped Ben organize a reading corner in Lily's room, complete with cushions and fairy lights. When Lily caught a cold, Natalie showed up with homemade chicken soup and a stack of children's books about space. It wasn't until their 4th weekend together, while Lily was at a classmate's birthday party, that Ben and Natalie finally had time alone. They walked through the neighborhood, talking about everything and nothing. "Can I ask you something personal?" Ben ventured as they sat on a park bench, watching squirrels chase each other around a tree, of course. "Why me? You could be with someone more established, more what?" Natalie prompted when he trailed off. "I don't know. Someone whose life isn't centered around parent-teacher conferences and finding matching socks in the morning." Natalie was quiet for a moment. "My parents were wealthy," she finally said. "Old money, country club memberships, the works. I grew up with everything I could want materially, but my father worked constantly, and my mother was more interested in social status than being present. When my brother was born with special needs, they hired staff to care for him." She turned to face Ben directly. "I learned early that possessions and status don't create happiness. I built my company because I wanted to make a difference, not to accumulate wealth. And watching you with Lily, seeing how you prioritize her happiness above everything, how you've built this wonderful relationship despite challenges, that's more impressive to me than any corner office or luxury car." "You make me sound like some kind of hero," Ben said, uncomfortable with the praise. "I'm just doing what any parent would do." "But that's just it, not every parent does. My parents didn't." Natalie reached for his hand. "Ben, I'm falling for you. For your kindness, your humor, your terrible dad jokes, and yes, even your crooked bookshelves. Is that okay?" Ben felt something tight in his chest release. "More than okay. I've been falling for you since you saved me from wedding small talk." Their first kiss was gentle, tentative, and perfect. When they pulled apart, Ben found himself laughing softly. "What's funny?" Natalie asked. "Just thinking about how Lily is going to say I told you so. She's been asking when you're going to be my girlfriend since that first pancake breakfast." "Smart kid," Natalie smiled. "What should we tell her?" "The truth," Ben said. "That sometimes the best things happen when you least expect them. When they picked up Lily from the birthday party, she took one look at them holding hands and broke into a wide grin. "Finally, did you kiss?" Jason's parents kiss all the time and he says it's gross, but I think it's nice. "Yes, we kissed," Ben confirmed, his cheeks reddening. "And we wanted to talk to you about Natalie and me spending more time together." Lily considered this gravely. "Does this mean Natalie will come over more? And maybe sleep over sometimes like Mommy's friend does when I visit her?" Ben choked slightly at the directness of the question, while Natalie struggled to keep a straight face. "We'll take things one step at a time," Natalie explained gently. "But yes, I'd like to spend more time with both of you if that's okay with you." "Yes," Lily exclaimed, then added thoughtfully, "Does this mean you can help Daddy fix the wobbly table in the kitchen? He put a folded paper under it, but it still spills my milk sometimes." "I think between the two of us, we can figure it out," Natalie assured her. As they walked home hand in hand, with Lily skipping ahead, Ben marveled at how dramatically his life had changed in just 1 month. The loneliness that had become his constant companion since Karen left was gone, replaced by a sense of possibility he hadn't felt in years. That night, after Lily was asleep, Ben and Natalie sat on his small balcony, sharing a bottle of wine under the stars. "I have something for you," Natalie said, reaching into her bag. She pulled out a small wrapped package. Ben opened it to find a keyboard, not a full-sized piano, but a high-quality portable one that would easily fit in their apartment. "Natalie, this is too much," he protested. "It's not a gift just from me," she explained. "My brother teaches music therapy now. He has a connection with the manufacturer, got it at cost. He's also offered to give Lily her first few lessons online if she's interested." Ben was speechless, overwhelmed by her thoughtfulness. "Is it okay?" Natalie asked, suddenly uncertain. "I don't want to overstep." Ben carefully set the keyboard aside and pulled her into a kiss. "It's perfect," he whispered against her lips. "You're perfect." 6 months later, Lily performed her first recital on that keyboard, with Ben, Natalie, and Natalie's brother Miles watching proudly via video call. By then, Natalie had practically moved in, though she still maintained her downtown apartment for late work nights. "I have a proposal," Natalie said one evening as they washed dishes together, Lily already asleep. "That sounds serious," Ben teased, bumping her hip with his. "I've been thinking about moving the company headquarters." "Oh," Ben rinsed a plate. "Where to?" "Here, actually. The lease is up on our current building, and commercial real estate is more affordable in this area. Plus, the commute would be significantly improved." "For you," Ben noted. "What about your employees?" "We've been trending toward remote work anyway. The core team is on board with the move." Natalie hesitated. "There's more to it than that, though." Ben set down the dish towel. "I'm listening." "I found a house. 4 bedrooms, nice yard, excellent school district, about 15 minutes from here." "Natalie, before you say anything," she interrupted, "this isn't about money. It's about us, you, me, and Lily. I want a home with you, Ben. A place that's ours, where Lily can have a proper music room and maybe someday." She trailed off, suddenly vulnerable. "Someday," Ben prompted gently. "Maybe more kids, if that's something you'd want." Ben pulled her close, his heart full. "I never thought I'd get a second chance at this, at family, at love. You've given me that chance, Natalie. So yes, I want a home with you. I want everything with you. Even though I never did fix that wobbly kitchen table." She teased, eyes suspiciously bright. "We'll buy a new one," Ben laughed. "Or maybe I'll build one. My carpentry skills have improved under your tutelage." "Marginally," she corrected with a grin. 1 year to the day after they met at Ethan and Victoria's wedding, Ben and Natalie returned to the Rosemont Hotel, this time with Lily as their flower girl. The ceremony was small, just close friends and family, including Natalie's brother Miles, who played violin as Natalie walked down the aisle. During the reception, Ben found himself once again seated at a table, watching couples dance. But this time, the woman in green beside him was his wife, and the loneliness that had pervaded his life for so long was just a distant memory. Penny for your thoughts, Natalie said, squeezing his hand. Just thinking about how much has changed in a year, Ben replied. How lucky I am that you sat beside me that night. Luck had nothing to do with it, Natalie confessed. I saw you at the ceremony with Lily, the way you helped her arrange her dress, the gentle way you spoke to her. I asked the wedding planner to seat me at your table. Ben stared at her in surprise. You engineered our meeting. All this time I thought it was chance. Sometimes you have to create your own serendipity, Natalie shrugged, unapologetic. Best decision I ever made. Sneaky, Ben said admiringly. Any other secrets you've been keeping? Just one, Natalie said, her expression turning serious. I was thinking we might want to convert one of those spare bedrooms sooner rather than later. It took Ben a moment to understand. Are you saying? Natalie nodded, her eyes shining. I confirmed it yesterday. Lily's going to be a big sister. Ben pulled her into his arms, too overcome for words. On the dance floor, Lily twirled in her flower girl dress, carefree and happy, unaware that their family circle was already expanding. Later that night, as they swayed together for their last dance, Ben reflected on how a single evening, one he'd nearly skipped, had changed the course of his life. From struggling single dad to husband and soon to be father again, all because a beautiful bridesmaid had decided to sit beside a lonely father at a wedding. What are you smiling about? Natalie asked, her head resting against his shoulder. Just appreciating my happily ever after, Ben replied, holding her closer. It's even better than I could have imagined.